Call me Neoblade. This is the staircase step 6. This is only one video for all races. And we'll switch to my cam in a minute. Keep in mind, this is Platinum versus Platinum. And one of the most important rules, which is a rule from step 1 to step 6, play aggressively. Oftentimes I see the staircase players only concentrating on their macro, which is fine in step 1 and step 2. But in step 2, at least step 3, you have to concentrate on micro as well, and you have to train your micro as well. And one of the most easy parts is just to play aggressively, because then you will micro and then you will multitask automatically. So this game is terrible macro wise. I scroll too much here. I get overmints. I think my pro production was not constantly. My expansion timing was very bad, because I saw the chance to play reactively, react to your opponent. There will be a part about this later on, so I won't go in depth here. But now I see, okay, this guy is really vulnerable. I don't know how it's spelled. I can hurt him, and he made too much tech. And now I try to scout his base. So now I see, okay, there's a Stargate. As you might know, can I zoom in? I only can zoom out. As you might know, you can see this is a void ray. But I did not see it. I thought it was an oracle, so I will put down cannons in every economy, because I know I'm far ahead in workers. I scouted his natural. His natural is not mining. You can see the income. Almost 2000 or 17k to 800, because he's not mining from his natural. I am. And I am saturated in both bases. In both bases, my god, TH. So there's the forge, but I have to build an additional nexus right away. What should he do? How can he has no units, even though if this void ray comes out or an oracle comes out, I just can build an additional nexus, because I have the money and I'm saturated. So this is a fail, a macro fail. It's bad macro. The next mistake is a big micro mistake, multitasking mistake, because he will kill my mothership core before I photon overcharge, and I can photon overcharge right now. Very bad micro mistakes. And if you missed the part, please go back to step 4 or step 5, where I tell you to watch your replays and to find big micro mistakes. I say fail micro. You have to watch your replay and find fail micro in the replays. But macro is more important than micro. So I lost the mothership core and I built right away, because I wanna kill this nexus to get more ahead. I made a mistake with the waypoints. I now have cannons in my economy, and I kill probes. You can see the game is over, of course, but you can train your multitasking as well. jump to the front. And let's see where he parks his Void Race. This money is... It was one of my first games, but there's no excuse. This money is terrible. It's just terrible. But I play aggressively, the complete game. I don't back off, I don't get home, I just play aggressively as long as his Nexus is down. And then I see, okay, this guy won't build any probes, so I go in for the kill. But I prepare for DTs with double robotics facilities. I missed the second forge, I missed the upgrades, all very bad macro because the multitasking was too heavy for me. So now I try to kill his last Nexus to find out, did he build a Nexus anywhere? And when his Nexus is down, he leaves the game. We'll take a look at his vision. Void Rays are very, very, very good against Stalkers. But of course, 3 Void Rays cannot win the game at this stage. I should have focused the Nexus much sooner. Again, a micro mistake. But now I find his probes. He has not 400 minerals, and of course 2 Void Rays cannot win the game against a 3 basis Protoss. These gates are not open, no upgrades. Terrible macro game. Terrible, terrible macro game. But I wanted to show you how to play aggressively and that you can train your multitasking like this. Thanks very much, and we'll see us in the next part. Welcome to the next part. This is a reminder mental checklist and day 9 rules. If you missed the parts, please check out the other videos I did on mental checklist and day 9. We'll sum it up. Constantly build workers. For Zerg this means good drone timing. And take a look at the video below. Constantly build workers. Never get supply blocked. Keep your money low. Minimap and scouting. And I took a replay where my minimap vision is good. Sorry for the German gut. And I see these medivacs using this overlord, having the watchtowers. Watchtowers are very important to take on almost every map. Even though pro gamers don't do that, because pro gamers, if Dark would have played this game at 3:30, there would have been an overlord with speed. Can check out Dark versus Brianna on King Sejong Station, who would have scouted this starport, and he would have immediately known, okay, double medivac drop. But since my scouting is not nearly as good as Dark's, I have to react to the minimap. And I see this angle, okay, these guys are flying into my natural. So I bring my queens in positions, my links and banelings. I forgot circling speed, very bad against this build, Terran build, very bad against this attack. Though it's not executed perfectly. I check the front, I scout the front. I use my queens to scare the medivacs away. Since my creep spread is very, very, very good. Not very good, but it's okay, and he flies over my creep. I see, okay, he will try to flank fly in here and harass me here. These overlords are not placed correctly. One is okay here, but the other one should be here. So if a medivac flies through here, I can see the complete path. Watching the minimap, very, very important to learn, and therefore you should ladder as much as you can, because minimap comes with practice. First medivac is dead. My army's enough to scare away this medivac. I don't get the medivac because my micro is bad. And now I should immediately make a counter attack because I scout the front and here is no bunker. Watching the minimap, I can see here's no building. I see a red dot here, but Lynx and Banelings can easily move through such a big space here. Watching the minimap is also important for attacks and seeing third bases and stuff like that. Very, very bad was I used F2 and I don't have the watchtowers anymore. This is mental checklist and day 9 rules. Watching the minimap, very important. Your minimap should glow like a Christmas tree, having the watchtowers, having overlords placed everywhere. And if you're not a Zerg, you can easily place pylons here, here, or depots. You can build sensor towers as Terran, and Protoss can easily build 2 or 4 observers, which then be placed patrol here and patrol this area. But building pylons and depots in important locations where you could fly over is totally fine too, and I have shown this in my videos. Thanks very much. We'll see you guys in the next part. Welcome to the next part. This is a move over the minimap and using a hotkey, an army hotkey. Protoss should do the warp-in drill, and you should check your replays if you make mistakes using the warp-in drill, egg hotkey drill, or jumping to a camera location and selecting your army for Terran. Terran should always try to learn setting their rally points near their main army and moving their army around, so they can see, do I have my complete army on the hotkey. It's a little bit easier, I think, for Protoss and Zerg, but here I make a major mistake in the warp-in drill. I do not change my hotkey group, so I have all units in the army hotkey 1. But what I do is I warp in units, I'm on 2 bases, and I build 2 pylons. How you can train that, I would show it now for Zerg. Again, Terran should use a camera location for where their army is grouped, where their rally points are going, and you search for NeoMT and use NeoMT Proberto Frost. It's very important to create the game, not to play. This is also very important to learn multitasking, but for your warp-in drill or stuff like that, you choose very easy and economic focus, so you are not that disturbed by the computer. Very important to set this to 600 and choose 160, 60 life, whatever you need, but 600 minerals, very important. Because your warp-in drill, you can play on 1 base if you wanted to, but I recommend playing on 2 base. But you really have to be able to use a move over the minimap and use the egg hotkey drill as Zerg or the warping drill as Protoss.
Insufficient.
And we'll build a 13 pool.
Your probes are under attack.
I will just switch off Proberto, which I can do using minus NC, no choboling, minus NC. Here are my 200 minerals. Build an additional Overlord.
Not enough minerals.
This is just an example. It's not a build order for how it is called. Ladder, sorry.
More overlords required. Insufficient.
We build an additional drone if the Overlord is spawned. We will need an additional Overlord. And your warp and drill should look like this. Egg hotkey drill, sorry. Every unit moves to the watchtower. And there's an egg, and I have it put on one. Overlords can be placed around our base. We have too much money. We build 2 queens.
More minerals required.
And now we have 2 eggs. Control click them because we need this. And this is the egg hotkey drill. We'll need an additional Overlord. Now we can move around. And as Terran, you just use this waypoint here. Overlord hotkey drill.
Newly birthed queen ready.
Inject. We should do this and this. And if you use a camera hotkey as Terran, we need a macro hatch. We need an additional queen.
Not enough minerals.
And then you can just jump to your camera, move your stuff around. But you see, all my links are moving to
Birth successful.
this location.
Quantity insufficient. More minerals required. Mineral quantity insufficient.
And a move over the minimap should be very simple. I just did it now. And we should inject. We should move 1 queen below there. Now it can inject again.
Newly birthed queen.
We can do the egg hotkey drill again.
Swarm
A move
forces
over the
under
minimap.
attack.
And I think you should grasp the concept. There is 1 drone.
Swarm forces
We'll
under
do
attack.
1 drone here. We can inject again. This is the... And now I can use a move over the minimap again. A hotkey drill.
Minerals.
And I think you should have grasped the concept.
Under attack.
Again, with Terran you just jump to your warp and look to your point where all units are going. And this is it. And you should stay below 600 minerals all the time. Thanks very much, and we'll see us in the next part. Welcome to the next part. This is Micro. And you should complete or try all missions from StarCraft Master. You can find it in the arcade. You can find there Neo's Micro Trainer. And you should try some missions of Darkline's micro trainer. I think it's spelled this way. Even though you are not Protoss, for example you're a Zerg, you should try to do these missions with these Stalkers, because you learn how to stutter step, how to use terrain, how to split your army, use pull micro and stuff like that. And I think these missions are fun. And this is a very simple mission. Hold position and stuff like this. With focus fire I had a little bit of trouble because I forgot to use the shift key. With using shift it's not a big problem. And there will be additional micro part for bunker rush and cannon rush, but you can see the videos as well. And I really recommend trying these missions, all missions, for all races. And if you have trouble completing a mission within 5 tries, you may jump to the next, but I at least tried 5 times. And I did a wrong approach there. I had to wait until a Stalker had almost no health at all, and then you're able to complete the mission. This mission is really easy for Zerg. You can use this in a real game with Banelings as well, but then you have to have very good minimap awareness and minimap vision, because you have to explode the Banelings while the Terran moves over them. This scenario I've never seen in a real game. This Colossus will kill all the Zerglings if you use the high ground well. I think it should just show how high ground advantage is used with Colossus. It's very bad. You don't need to lose as much health as I did. I almost died. This is an interesting part here, but I've never seen it in a real game, using 2 Stalkers killing 2 tanks. But jumping onto tanks with Blink is common scenario. Mostly you do it with, I think, 8 Stalkers or 10 Stalkers on 1 tank, because you do not want to waste all of your Stalkers. So there are 30 rounds, and I think you should at least try to complete 25 of them. Not in the, if round 9 is too difficult for you, you can do 10, not the first 25, just the one you like, but please play all 3 races, improving your micro. So how can this be found? We'll jump into the campaign or into co-op mode. And just to demonstrate how to move to the arcade, the first run is StarCraft Master. This one here, I've shown it. The next one is Neo. Okay. We'll search for micro. There's a lot of micro trainers as well. There we have Darkline's micro trainer. And okay. Search the word trainer. there it was, sorry. This is Neo's Micro Trainer. Builds is on StarCraft Master. Has new Legacy of the Void missions in it. I will just show one of them. I think, yeah. Pylon Overcharge, Liberator Harass. I don't need to show I have disruptors in it, and I think you will find some of these really challenging. Escaping the Liberator is not the problem, but killing the next army really is a problem. And Darkline's Micro Trainer, Darkline, still popular, is with Legacy of the Void. It's with the Wings of Liberty. So some of the stuff won't apply. I will show something for Protoss. My Blink Micro is not very good. Speed Roaches, Blink Stalkers there.
I am the voice of the eclipse. State thy bidding. Cold that is real. I am. You require iron, the heart of the dust. You require my skins. State thy bidding. Cold that is the void. Real. I am the voice of the cold. I am the voice of the eclipse.
So I think you grasp the concept, then you can choose challenge again, and we'll show transfusion. I think my transfusion micro is okay. We should get... You should wait until it's in the red. You should not lose a single queen here. Was very bad by me. And I think you grasp the concept of training your micro. And we'll see us in the next part. This is the next part. And micro is an important part to learn in StarCraft 2. It's in the lower league, macro and mechanics are more important to learn, but micro is fun for most players. I would recommend that you play an all-in or cheese in one matchup. Sometimes, not every time. But this is an immortal all-in using proxy robotics facilities. I wouldn't recommend building it in a watchtower, but it's okay. Stay with the mothership core at home and photon overcharge everything. I would have built at least 16 workers for the mineral line. And one of the problems is the Terran gets overmints. Defending an all-in, you never should get overmints. And he scouted the all-in with a Reaper, but doesn't matter. This is only one of the possibilities you have as Protoss. Every race has cheese and all-ins. You just have to figure out what and where. And we'll see us in the next part with a bunker rush. As I promised, we will see bunker rush. But normally you build 3 barracks. At least you should build 2, because if you would have built 2 barracks, 2 marines would income here, would be incoming, and I would not be able to kill the marines that easily. it was a major mistake to let the bunker finished. But since he did not build 3 barracks, he could only attack me with 1 marine, and I had enough drones to kill his marines and his bunker. So it was very badly executed by him. Again,
base is under attack. Upgrade.
We will talk about drops later on. And I see, okay, I cannot get through here. And right now I use dropping
Add-on complete.
so I can kill workers in his main base. There will be a chapter killing workers later on in this video. So I have overlord speed, I have an evo chamber, and since he played an all-in, he does not have a lot of workers. I should have scouted more for hidden bases. I missed that. And he has a tank now, but it's only able to protect his ramp. And I do damage with my drop. So this was a bunker rush, and I see you guys in the next part. How you can train your micro as Zerg. I have seen a ZVP on this map where a proxy hatch is built here. Please take a look at my Zerg TheStaircase videos, because I showed Zanster who went to Grandmaster without gas using proxy hatches a lot. You can Google for his replays. This guy plays very greedy. A 3rd command center at the gold base within 4 minutes. Though dropping is not my cup of tea, because I get overmins a lot. My SQ is very bad. I did a replay for you showing drop. I tested it a little bit in the early days of Legacy of the Void, Links of Liberty, Legacy of the Void. What you can do also is playing a Baneling Bust. I played drop into Baneling Bust because I liked the idea and I liked the fun. And I already killed 27 workers. I think I will kill even more. Very important is to set all your rally points at his ramp, because otherwise he can rebuild the depots.
Base is under attack.
And I kill workers, you can see it on the right hand side here. I will morph Banelings again, and you can train your micro with a Baneling Bust. But my money is very, very bad. My SQ in this game is very, very bad. Thanks very much, and we'll see us in the next part. Welcome to the next part.
Additional supply.
On step 6. And I think, yeah, step 6 is should be okay. You could easily play Proxy Reaper. If you play it on step 4, I remind you that you only can use Reapers and Marines as units. And I think tanks or medivacs are more important to learn in step 4. But it's totally up to you. This Proxy Reaper is executed very poorly, because take a look at the units lost here. He will lose, I think, all of his Reapers now. Yeah, I can surround them, and 5 Reapers are dead already. And he does not spend his money. So it's very important to spend your money to get additional barracks, to get gas, upgrades and stuff like that. And because I spend my money, I win this game. Though my worker production is very bad, I should constantly build workers because I lose workers. And I think my mule, using mules is very bad. This was a good micro move by me because I instantly get the Reapers jumping up there. And now I have a worker lead. I will get a third base and the game is won. This is 3 Rex Reaper, Proxy Reaper, and you can try this as well. But keep your money low at all times. Thank you very much. We'll see us in the next part. This is the last part of micro. And in step 5 and step 6, your micro abilities and possibilities are almost infinite. Why did I not talk about complicated micro in the first parts? Because learning dropping, learning 2-prong attacks, and learning solid macro and solid mechanics is way more important than to do fancy micro stuff. In the lower leagues, I will display it what happens if you just A-move your important micro units like Vipers. I've seen a game where 12 Vipers are A-moved with an army, are A-moved into a position with these siege tanks. And since the Vipers are faster than roaches without roach speed, the Vipers all died before a single roach could kill a tank or a marine. And you should learn to put your spellcasters on additional hotkey. So this problem with the A-move won't happen as much. And therefore you should learn to, I will show it. You have to learn to use A-move with two hotkey groups. So your main army is moving there and your spellcasters are moving there. So if you're able to do this, and a lot of people struggle learning using 2 control groups with army hotkey and spellcasters, main army and spellcasters, then of course you could do Storm, but I have to, then we'll give the Terran Stim concussive shells, and the Protoss should get Storm. Start. Let's spread these out a little bit, not aus.
Can do. Sure thing. In the pipe, 5x5.
So we start with a Templar.
In unity there is strength. I heed the call.
And you see how easily they are killed. Reset. You could use Ravens if their tanks are not protected. You can use Ravens for putting auto turrets in an economy line. Very, very popular. And let's see. You can harass a little bit with these. And the last thing I will show you. Of course, you've seen it a thousand times. Blinding Cloud is very nice. You should not use Blinding Cloud like this, and you could just easily... I've never used them, so I have to take a look what is the right key. you can use stuff like this. But you see, my Vipers are dangerously close to the opponent's army. Vipers are one of the most micro-intensive units in the game, so I really recommend that you only play them in the Staircase Step 6 and try to learn a Viper spell in Step 6. Thanks very much. This was it for micro. Test whatever you like, but try to get a high SQ. Thanks very much. Welcome to the next part. And what have we learned so far? We learned to use drops. And just let's talk about my scouting. I see he has no third base. I should take both watchtowers, but my Hellions are there. And now, I think, okay, since I will be on 5 bases any moment, I'm almost on 70 workers. I do a drop, even though I will lose all Marines. I knew he was turtling the whole time. I scan, okay, there are the tanks, there are Marines, so probably I cannot fly in there, and I decide just to drop over his turrets, because there is only one turret. I should have taken another angle to drop into his base, so because now I make a mistake, his turret is killing me. This turret almost kills me. I should have made an additional scan, but he loses a lot of Marines. And I just want to try to save the Medivacs there. And I fly away. And now I see, okay, he's taken an additional expansion, but how to deny bases will be another part. So we'll jump right into the... Now we'll make a small cut and I will show an additional drop. With Terran, I will show one with Protoss. With Zerg, dropping is not my cup of tea. I'm too bad in the mechanics, and I try to focus on the mechanics and the Zerg macro cycle and so on. So, see you on the next part. So this is the next drop part. I made a major scouting error in this TVT.
Mineral field depleted.
I built 3 bases against 1 base play, and then I had to pull the boys, and I lost 35 SCVs. Very bad, scouting is very important. And remember always the day 9 rules.
Add-on complete.
Scouting and watch the minimap. Now I see he's turtling, and I know I'm ahead because he has only 1 base, because he's outmined in his main base. And now I make a drop to pull his units out of position, which works quite well. He unsieges, and what I should have done immediately, stim these and a move over the minimap into here. Scan again to see if these siege tanks are unsieged, but even if they're not unsieged, I can kill all of these units. And even if my complete army dies, I have 10 barracks, and he has only 4. And 10 barracks are, of course, not enough. But this is one of my major problems, adding barracks. So we'll see how this works out. I'm way ahead in upgrades. I rescue all of my Medivacs, and then a move over the minimap. And he will be too late. So this is a mixture of two-prong attack and drop. And I would show one drop as Protoss, and as Zerg you can watch the drop replays powered by Mamba. I showed one on master level where he used Baneling drops to harass the opponent, and because, as I said, Zerg drops are not my cup of tea. I hope to see you in the next part. Welcome to the next part.
Additional supply
This is
required.
drops for Protoss, and I did some damage in the early game, killing 1 SCV and 8 Marines with 3 Zealots. He split his Marines, I don't know why. And I saw the starport and the factory early on, so I prepared for Liberator, Widowmine drops and stuff like that, placing a cannon in every economy. I built observers, and I scouted the front with an observer. Very important. And now I will
Upgrade complete.
do DT drops. You will see my money will skyrocket.
When this was old.
And this is very nice of him, not sieging his tanks. And I do two-prong attack, sending a DT into his base and dropping. So we'll watch this video, how it will end.
I have met the enemy.
My income is way higher than his.
Those explosions being downside.
I have more army. You can see I have way more minerals and income than him. My gate production is again very bad. Now I scout his complete main base. And I will do a drop in his main. I will try to kill as much workers as I can, which is quite successful. And I should build additional 3 or 5 workers.
Base is under attack.
So I just photon overcharged there, and the game is over. Dark Templar drop has an additional advantage, but my multitasking is too bad. You could easily drop those Dark Templars here, and if he builds a third base, attack with your Zealots and your Immortals the third base, doing a two-prong attack. But if your multitasking is really good, you can just unload the DTs, send one DT into his economy. Of course, you should scout with an observer beforehand, so if turrets are here and the Widowmine is here, then the Widowmine will just kill your Dark Templar, and you could just kill this starport or this add-on. And if his army comes, you just you fly the War Prism here, and you just pick up all the Dark Templar and fly away again. Pig made a video about this, I think, and but you can just practice it. There's always a place where you can drop Dark Templars, distract him, try to kill a building, a depot. You don't have to do much damage with it. Just distract your opponent and try to kill his third base, which is not here. But normally, even a Terran should have a third base at 9 minutes. And I think it's okay, it's ready here, but it should be up and mining. Thanks very much. This was dropping with Protoss, and I see you guys in the next part. Welcome to the next part. This is dropping for Protoss, but there's one important thing for all races. Try to figure out where to drop. Protoss, use an Observer. Zerg, use an Overlord, preferably with Overlord speed. And Terran, use Scan. Two-prong attacks with drops are very powerful, and you will see how this attack will commence. I will just take a look at the video. It looks fine, okay. I'm dropping here not with Dark Templar, with just Zealots. Zealots are fine against tanks and where his army is not located, and you see I killed 22 workers with this drop, and since I know his army is not sufficient to kill me there, I just try to warp in there, which was a mistake because I did not scout his major army. But I think since I am leading with 50 workers to 20, it's okay to trade the army there. Now it's 3 base, almost 4 base to 2 base against 2 base, I'm sorry. And I think now I will do a normal macro game, but we'll see if I drop again. I think I will do so. I will just protect my gold base here. I scout for hidden bases. I protect against Liberator. I wait for my 3-3. But I don't drop in his base again, which is a major mistake, because his army is out on the map, and you really should drop into his main base, because I have an economy advantage. Now my War Prism flies again, but I think it will only reinforce, yeah. So this was a major mistake. If you drop, you should do it constantly. Every 2 minutes, every 3 minutes, how your multitasking works. War Prism, of course, can be used to support your attack, but we're in the part of drops, and if you use Dropper Lords or you use Medivacs to drop, you should try to get a rhythm for your multitasking and not try to drop your macro. But just one drop is okay. It's better than nothing, but it should be. When his army was here, I just should have dropped 4 or 8 zealots, or 4 zealots, and then a warp in into his main base. Thanks for listening, and we'll see us in the next part.